Great, there we go. As I say, good morning. Welcome to today's webinar. Very nice that you could join us today. I'll start with a little bit of PowerPoint and then jump into showing you the system live and also the back end of the platform as well, which is of course the most important part. Okay. So when we look at digital signage today, I think we've identified three big challenges when it comes to the use and deployment of effective digital signage. First of all is black screens. You know this yourself when you walk around a shopping center or a hotel or an office. There will be black screens that probably once upon a time held some engaging content, but now have gone off for whatever reason. Second challenge is old content. We've all seen Christmas campaigns and Easter campaigns and information about a sale which is now on, which is clearly old content and needs to be removed. And third, the challenge of creating engaging content. The problem is that when you publish content, it's not sure that the people passing by are going to engage and get eyeballs on that content. So how do we create content which will keep attention and ultimately help you to communicate across the information you're trying to convey? So black screens and of course blue screens can be a challenge. The issue normally is that the screen has lost its power or it's lost its network. And if you don't know about that, then there's nothing you can do to rectify it. We've never used Windows as a client, so we would never see a blue screen like you see on the image there. But you can have a black screen because somebody could pull out a cable, they could pull out the network connection. So what we implemented to solve this is an automated email that comes from the cloud. If we detect that one of your screens has gone offline, that can be sent to anybody in the organization and can happen quite fast. You can choose the delay, but within a few minutes you can get an email saying, you know what, this big screen has gone offline, maybe you want to see why, and that helps you to avoid black screens. Secondly, you might have a black screen because nobody has planned any content. And the way we rectify that is always have default content. And just as an example, the content you see over my shoulder here is not planned at all. It's a default content. So if I don't plan any content for the screen, something will appear that will avoid any black screen. And ultimately, if we make it easy to schedule content, to do it at any time and from anywhere, then we should be sure that we have the right content running at the right time. So old content, that's the other challenge. Great that you put some content up, but if it goes out of date, then it's a bit pointless. And often the reason for this is that the user of the platform finds it so complex or so detailed to use the platform that they don't want to get involved. They need the IT manager to make the change. They don't want to break it. So by making a system that we have today, which is cloud-based, web-based, easy to use, and allows you and the staff to make content changes at any time and from anywhere. And an example on the right there is our mobile CMS. So this enables you to make changes to content, to make changes to scheduling, even from a mobile device. And of course, we allow pre-planning of content. So you can plan what's going to happen at the weekend, what's going to happen next weekend. And you can also have start and stop dates for your content. So we make sure that old content will not run past its validity time. And last but not least is engaging content. The content might be relevant, it might be up to date, but if the passerby is not interested to look at the screen, then we also have a challenge. And video is one way to really improve the engagement of the content. Just on the right there is a graph relating to more social media, but you see that when you have video, you get more attention to your content. So using video is very important, and enabling you to import and to display video in an easy way is critical then. And secondly, it's live data. If you can have some kind of interesting live data on your screens, it's going to encourage people to look at the screens. It could be anything from the weather forecast through to live Twitter and Instagram feeds. So just by having motion, by having live information, there's more chance that people will actually stare at the screen, and you will retain the eyeballs for a bit longer on your content. And of course, all of these challenges and all of these solutions apply to a lot of verticals. Otrum is known for our hospitality background. We've been in the hotel business for 30 years, and we've been doing digital signage in hospitality for well over a decade. But of course, the problems that we've solved with Otrum Signage apply to all verticals. So we've worked in all kinds of verticals now, from public sector through to sports stadiums, retail, banking, managed housing, etc. So there are a lot of verticals that appreciate the steps we've taken within our digital signage platform. So it's the same slide you see behind me. If we can solve this and make an easy to use system, then I think we have the right product. And traditionally, especially in hospitality, the person you see here in this picture is our admin user. This is the person who uses the system on a daily basis. These are typically in hospitality a receptionist who moves around jobs within the industry, maybe doesn't have time to be sent away for training courses, so they need to just be able to log in and use the platform. And this is what we've accomplished with Otrum Signage. So we make a very easy to use platform. There's no instruction manuals or anything like that, and that means that we'll be sure that we have the right content and engaging content on the remote screens. So this is the most technical slide I will show you, and this just explains the whole ecosystem of the Otrum Signage platform. So starting at the beginning, it's a cloud-based platform. So this means it's accessible at any time from anywhere, and we of course have looked carefully on which cloud services to use. We settled on Amazon, and we're using Amazon CloudFront, which doesn't mean a lot, but it CloudFront enables us to cache all of your content closer to you than to us. So it means that when you use the system, no matter where you are in the world, you're going to get a snappy, low latency, very responsive solution. And Amazon is a platform we've used now, again, for about a decade, and we're very, very happy with that. When it comes to the clients, the screens that you can then use to display your content, we're working with the four major manufacturers of smart screens. I say three because Philips, LG, Samsung are using integrated smart screen technology. NEC is using what's called an integrated Raspberry Pi compute module. The Raspberry Pi is the small box that you see on the bottom of the screen there. The Raspberry Pi enables us to retrofit existing screens. So to be honest, the screen I'm using behind me is actually connected to a Raspberry Pi. So all of the content that you'll see in this webinar is coming through a Raspberry Pi. This is a great way to retrofit existing screens or old screens that are not smart. But Philips, LG, Samsung have been delivering integrated smart screens for quite some years now. So normally we can take an off-the-shelf screen and get it connected to the Amazon cloud, and then you can start managing it through the Otrum Signage platform. When it comes to integration to web services, we have a lot of content we can bring in, and that's everything from YouTube through to flight information. And as I mentioned earlier, things like Twitter and Instagram, where we can bring in live social media feeds, including images and text, just to have a kind of a living and a very engaging content on the screens. At the bottom there, you see our two-way interface for meeting room booking. In the hospitality environment, we work with the Oracle Sales and Catering module. Outside of hospitality, we're working with Microsoft Exchange. This enables us to create interactive meeting room screens which go by our door signs by the meeting room and enable people to see who has the meeting booked, and in some cases we can even interact with that screen and book the room ourselves, and I hope to show you that later. Last is the content management. As I mentioned, we have a web-based content management within the platform, and you can open that on any browser on a desktop PC or on a Mac, or alternatively, as I have here, you can actually open it on a mobile device and get the same experience in the web browser on a mobile device. So it means that you can enable, disable, change content while you're walking around. You don't have to be sat at the desk to make those changes. And this is what we're going to go to next, is to show you the content management system, the CMS. So I know it's an often used phrase. Our target is really to make the most easy to use signage platform so that people are encouraged to use the platform. They're not scared to make changes. You don't need to call an IT manager or your technical staff or marketing staff to make changes. If you can use Gmail, you should be able to use our CMS, and that's what we're going to come to now. So let me just jump out of here and let's go to the CMS. So as I mentioned, you just need to open a web browser and you go to the URL otrum.signagelogin.com and you're presented with the login screen. And it's just the same on a mobile device. You type the same URL and you're presented with the mobile login. So I will then log into my site, and in my small site, here I have two screens. I have the one behind me, and I have a little 10-inch screen here as well. So these are two screens. One is connected on a wired network, one is connected on a wireless network. Both are connected then to the Amazon cloud, to our solution there, and I can see with a little green checkbox that both screens are online and they're working fine. And this is a very nice visual check. When you log in, you'll see a red box there if the screen is offline, and then of course you can go in and you can see, well, how long has it been offline? You can track that, and then you can see, do I need to go and fix it, or is it just someone has removed a power cable, for example? So I want to show you first of all how easy it is to take a photo or a video and upload it to the signage system. So on the left of the CMS, you see the screens which are available, and on the right you see the content which is available. And I'm mainly going to focus today on images and video and later templates. And this is where we store the content. And of course, if I upload some content to the CMS, another user can then log into the CMS and access the same content. All the content is stored in the Amazon cloud. So let me just expose the desktop here. And you can see on my desktop, I have an image and I have a video. So let's start with the image. It's nothing special, it's just a test screen, but I just drag the image in to the cloud and I drop it down, and you see it's uploaded into the cloud, and now it's available for me to manage inside the CMS. So I could go in and check the image. I could rename the image if I wish. I can see the resolution of the image, and it's important, of course, that we create the right content to fit the screen where the content's going to be displayed. So let's say I want to put this image on the screen behind me. This is screen 2 in my case. So I can click on screen 2, and I can see I have nothing planned for today. Let me just do the weekdays as well. I have nothing planned for any days of the week. I have nothing planned at all at the moment. So if I want to take this content live, all I have to do is drag it into the correct window. So if I want this content only to be available on a Thursday, I can drag it into the Thursday window and say, when do I want it to appear on Thursdays? Or if I want it to appear every day of the week, I can just drag it into this daily plan here. And so now I'm saying I want this image to appear from 7 in the morning till 6 in the evening, and I can adjust the timing by dragging the time slot, or actually by opening the time slot, and I can actually change the time here as well. So I'm happy with my content. It's ready to go. So all I need to do now is publish it. So I'll hit save. And I'm asked, do I want to push it live now, or would I rather wait to the update that we do every night? In this case, I want to push it live. So what you'll see now when I hit yes is this image is downloaded to the storage on the Raspberry Pi in this case, and then it's displayed on the screen. And if I come back to the preview here, and now I can see it's showing me that on the screen 1, which is this small screen, I still have the old content which I had earlier, and on screen 2 I now have this little test screen. Now one thing that's possible is if you have many screens and you want them all to have the same content, you can actually take your screens and put them into the same schedule. So here I'm putting both my screens into the same plan, and you'll see now that both screens now have the same content. And if I was to make a change to this plan, so let me delete the content that I have there, and let me just go get something else. So now I'm uploading a new image to this plan, to this schedule. Now you see it goes live on both screens at the same time. And if I wanted to separate the screens and have different content, I just drag the screen back to a different schedule, and now it will update, and now I have different content on the different screens. So let's come back in here. So this is the screen behind me, which is called Schedule 1, and in it I have screen 2. So we will use this going forward, which is the screen behind me. So if I wanted to upload maybe multiple images to the screen at the same time, I can just drag these images into a time slot, and I can create a slideshow. So now I have 3 slides in my slideshow, and I can click on the time slot, maybe change some timings, so it's say 5 seconds each, and publish that. So now we're going to publish a slideshow with 3 images, which will run as a carousel behind me with 5-second interval between each slide. So of course you don't have to have the same content throughout the day. You could choose to have different content at different times of the day, and it's just by dragging in the slides you can build up your plan for the day, what you want in the morning, the afternoon, the evening. And as I mentioned earlier, we then can override content based on the day of the week. So if I have the weekday scheduling enabled, I could say, you know, specifically because today is a Thursday, I want to have some different content. So because today is Thursday, I'm going to have this skyline picture. I'm not going to have the slideshow. And this will remain here till midnight, and then at midnight it will revert back to the content we scheduled previously. And of course, to go one step further, not every weekday is the same either. We can then use what we call the calendar view, and in the calendar view we can then pick a specific date. So if I say, look, let's say it's midsummer coming up soon, so for the midsummer weekend we want to have something special, I can drag that content for midsummer, and I can say, look, I want this to go from the 20th to, let's say, the 22nd. So that content will only run on those 3 days, and then after those 3 days that content will disappear. So very, very simple to drag and drop your content into the cloud, and very, very simple to publish the content so it goes live instantly on the distributed screens. Video is just the same. So if I pop to my desktop, you see I have a little video file. We don't really care about the format of the video file. You don't have to think about that. And again, that gives the users confidence that when they upload video, it's going to work. So you just take your video file, drag it into the video storage. it gets uploaded. This is a 50 megabyte file. It's not a small file, it's 50 megabytes. So it's been uploaded. It's nearly completed. Now it's finished. So what you'll see when it's finished uploading is it will start processing in the cloud and being converted to the correct formats. Okay, so once that's complete, I'll just reload it, see if it comes a bit quicker. Once that's completed, which it has now, I know that this video is going to play perfectly on all of the smart screens and the Raspberry Pi, which is compatible with Otrum Signage. So I will take this time slot and I'll drop the video there instead. As before, I'll save and I'll publish it immediately. And what you'll see now is it doesn't go live straight away. So what we're doing in the background is we're downloading this large file, and only once it's downloaded will it start playing. The file itself is stored locally, so I'm no longer using any bandwidth. The storage either in the Raspberry Pi or the smart screen is up to 16 gigabytes. So there's plenty space for many hours of content, and especially HD video in this case. So the video is now playing in a loop, and it will continue playing in a loop till 4 o'clock, and then it will change. And again, if I want to change the content by dragging and dropping, I can do that. And you'll see now that this change will then be instant, because the content is already present in the memory. If I were to move this video around, again in this case, because the video is stored locally, you'll see the change is instant. We don't have to wait for it to download again. So again, very simple solutions for uploading and publishing video on distributed screens. So earlier I spoke about more engaging content, more live content, and I've made some templates to show you what's possible, and that's under the templates icon here. And we have the templates folder where I've pre-created some templates, and making templates is very easy. You just create a slide, you put some background colors, maybe a background image, and then you can place the elements. So some of the elements I've looked at. So let's start with this simple one here. I will open it first to show you how it looks. This is a template I made for news. So there's a background image that says the word news. There's a little box that says today's headlines with the font I've chosen, a color, an alignment, just like you would do in Word or PowerPoint. I've put in a clock. This clock can be in any time zone. This is very handy if you want to build a world clock. And last but not least, I've picked a RSS feed. In this case, it's just pointing at a European feed from BBC. So if I want to see how this looks, I can actually hit the preview function. So I can see the content without having to go outside and look at the screen that I'm publishing content to. So I can see how it looks. I can see that it's formatted correctly, and I'm happy with it. If I needed to make any changes, again, it's just drag and drop. I can move things around and adjust the layout as I wish. And to publish the template, it's just the same as an image or a video. I take my template, I drag it into the time slot, and if I wished, I could actually mix it with images and text and video and other content as well. And I can decide how long I want these elements to display for. So our RSS feed has, I think I've set it up for 3 news stories. So let's say it only needs to be up for 20 seconds. So that's probably enough. And then it will display a couple of pictures, and then it will go back to the news. So once I'm happy, hit save, hit publish, and you'll see then behind me that the feed will go live, and now it's publishing the live BBC News content on the display. Again, that will stay for some 20 seconds. It's already on the 2nd news story, and then it will go to the 3rd, and then we will change to having the images in the carousel. So you can mix whatever you wish, images, videos, templates, multiple images and videos together in the time slot. Another template which I created here was one showing the weather, and also here a Twitter feed. So let me just drag this in as well. I'll publish it straight away and then I will go and show you it. So basically I've told the system that I'd like to see the weather today for Oslo, and you just actually type in the city name and it will pop up in the CMS. And I've also asked for a 3-day feed, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, showing the forecast. If I wanted to make changes again to the layout, so let's say I wanted to have a 4-day forecast, I could do that here. And again, to save me having to go outside to check the screen, I can actually preview it on my browser as well as seeing it come live on the screen. So now we see exactly how that's going to look when it goes live. Also here I've added a Twitter feed. Again, very, very simple. Inside my template, I've just used the add function and I've added a Twitter feed, and all I've had to do is give the Twitter handle for that feed, and then Otrum Signage takes care of the rest. So here we've got weather and Twitter, and you've seen RSS news on this template. Other things we can bring in is pretty much anything from the internet. So here I have a web page. This is a web page which is referring to a train operator actually here in Oslo. So if I take that feed and run it live, so I just drag it in again and publish it, we actually bring in a live web page with live train departure and arrival information, and that's actually the departures and arrival for our main train station here in Oslo. We can do the same with global flight information. So we have a subscription with Flight Stats, and that enables you then to have arrival and departure info, which is very handy if you have an installation near or in an airport. Okay, last but not least, when it comes to templates, one of the most common deployments we have for the signage platform is wayfinding, digital wayfinding. And this can be to static locations, but especially for dynamic meetings and events. So I'm going to load the meetings and events wayfinding template to this screen. So let's imagine this screen is in the lobby of a conference center. And then in parallel, I'm going to take my 10-inch screen and I'm going to put this outside of a meeting room in the same conference center. So let me just delete the content that's there. So I have two templates. In this case, I have one which goes outside the meeting room, and I have one which goes in the common area in the lobby, for example. So I can just, to make it easy to see, I can maybe show you that. So on the screen behind me, and you see it on my desktop, here is a summary screen, as we call it. So this is in the lobby, which is then when somebody comes into the conference center, they want to see, okay, I have a meeting with Volkswagen. Okay, Volkswagen are in room 1, and the meeting is from 12 to 5. The order that this is sorted is completely configurable, so you can have the room number or the room name alphabetically. You can have the events alphabetically. In this case, we're using the time, so the 9 a.m. meetings appear before the 12 o'clock meetings. And here on my little screen, this is the one that would then be outside the meeting room. It says inside room 1, Volkswagen have a meeting at 12 o'clock. All of the events are managed either through Outlook Exchange or through Oracle Sales and Catering, or directly through our platform. And one of the benefits of using our events platform is that it's also available on the mobile device as well. So if I open on my phone, I open the mobile management as well. I just wait for the camera to catch up. You can see that I have all of these events which can be managed either on my mobile device or on the desktop browser. So for example, if we know that Volkswagen are coming in a bit earlier, I can jump into here and I can make changes to the layout. So let's say we know Volkswagen are coming in at 11:30. I can make that change here, and then this will then update on the screen behind me, and also on this one. I tell you what, just to speed it up, I will just refresh the data. Yeah, so it's actually, I think it already came up. Yeah, so it's already says 11:30 here on this screen. So one of the great benefits of using these templates, of course, is that we can utilize touchscreens. So this is a Samsung 10-inch touchscreen, and what I've added is a button which says Book Now. So I can walk up to the meeting room. I can see it's well, Volkswagen aren't coming for another hour. I'd like to book the meeting room. So then I just press on the screen. I have Book Now, and it will give me options of what time slots are available to book the meeting room. So let me just say 30 minutes, confirm. So now it's confirmed that the room is booked for 30 minutes, and it's come up saying busy. It doesn't say Volkswagen because that's the next meeting, but now it shows that the room is busy. We've made a local booking on our screen. And if I come back to the events management, you'll see that this has also come in centrally into the database. We will also copy this information back to Microsoft Exchange as well. So if somebody's sitting in an office environment, they would no longer be able to book the screen. So I can delete the room booking from here as well. So now we'll go back to Volkswagen, and if I wish, I can, maybe even move the room bookings around. So let's say let's make a quick change here. So let's say Toyota actually aren't going to come till 5 o'clock tonight. So I will just quickly change their booking like this. So I see that, okay, Toyota could actually use room 1. So I can just drag Toyota to room 1. And now room 1 will have Volkswagen followed by Toyota, and room 4 is now empty. And if we look at the screen behind me, let me push it, but I will open it here as well. So here in the preview, we can see that now Volkswagen and Toyota are both in room 1. The little arrows on the side here are fully configurable. You can upload your own artwork as well. And basically, the users of the system never come into the template. They don't need to be involved at all in the design of any of the content. In fact, we have a user level which is just called events manager. So this will give one of your staff the ability just to book and change events here, either on the mobile device or on the desktop device, and they then won't touch the templates, they won't touch the artwork, they won't touch the graphics. All they will do is come in here to book events and change the timings of those events. Okay. Last but not least, just to show you some of the technical elements which are accessible through the system. I mentioned earlier about one of these screens being a Samsung and one being a Raspberry Pi. And if I actually hit the small cog in the top right, I'll actually get the technical information about the device. So this is the Raspberry Pi. It's a Raspberry Pi 3. We also support the Raspberry Pi 4. I can see when it's been online from. I can see the software version that's applied to this device. I can see this. In this case, it has both a wired and a wireless connection, and I can see the MAC addresses as well. So this really helps for the IT team if they need to fault find or they need to give a fixed IP address or something like that for the hardware. I can see the storage, plenty capacity left, and I can also see the connectivity. So as I mentioned, it's quite handy for fault finding to see, has something been offline for a day or 2 days, and in this case we can see how and why it's been offline. So in this case, the screen reboots at 3 a.m. every morning. You can decide yourself when this reboot will be. We reboot all screens once a day, just to be sure that every day it starts off as a fresh as fresh as it can. So this, you can see that my screen went offline at 3 a.m. Both yesterday and today. And this morning, the screen briefly went offline at 8 minutes past 8. And that was because I was changing the power sockets here in this room, and it went offline. And you can see it's been online ever since. The same with the Samsung. You'll get much the same information. I can see what model of screen we're using here. I can see all the IP and MAC data, as I mentioned. And I can also see here that this screen also rebooted just after 3 o'clock both days. And I can see it also went offline this morning as well, briefly. Okay, so I think that roughly summarizes what I wanted to show you today. I hope it's given you a deeper insight into Otrum Signage, also into how easy this platform really is to use. As I mentioned, we do not provide user manuals. We provide tutorials. These are actually accessible by the user here. They can go to our support center. Under the support center, there's two things, basically. There's the setup for the screens, how to install a Raspberry Pi, how to set up a Samsung, LG, Philips, NEC screen. And secondly, there's our tutorials. So if I want to understand, for example, how to work with templates, and I showed you some templates earlier, then we have a nice video here narrated, which explains the whole process of building a template, setting up a template. To be honest, the tutorials for a normal user last 10 minutes. So once you've gone through those 10 minutes of tutorials, then the users should be very comfortable using the platform. If you need any further information from me or from Otrum, you can use the email address info@otrum.com. And if you would like to find any more information yourself about Otrum Signage, you can actually go to our dedicated website, which is just otrumsignage.com. And there you will find a lot of the information I've presented you today, videos, tutorials, case studies, and things like that. So for now, I'll say thank you very much for joining the webinar. If you've got any questions, feel free to raise your hand and we can discuss now on chat or audio, or you can send an email to info@otrum.com.